I've always been really intrigued by the concept of open earbuds or open headphones, things you can wear that will allow you to hear your music, podcast, video, whatever it is that you're doing, but they won't actually obstruct your ability to hear the world around you. They're not relying upon a pass through mode where a series of microphones hear the world and then play that through your earbuds. They just simply allow you to hear the world around you in a very natural way. Because of that, a couple of weeks ago, I reviewed these very strange looking earbuds from Soundpeats, and I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised by them. And that is why when Earfun reached out and said, "Hey, we kind of have our own similar thing to this. Would you like to take a look?" I said, "Yeah, actually, send those bad boys over. Let's take a look at them." These are the Earfun Open Jump Open Ear headphones. A little bit of a mouthful. Maybe could have distilled that down just a little bit. At any rate, though, they are $79. And as you can see, this design is such that it's just going to sort of fit around your ear and then rest in front of your ear. They don't actually seal in your ear canal, much like the Pearl Clip things from Soundpeats. I don't even know if I even said their name, Pearl Clip Pro. They just sort of sit in your ear or in front of your ear like that without actually plugging them. So this is a very similar thing to that. But as you can see here, we have LDAC, we have 42 hours of playtime, multi-point connection. I'm assuming that's with the case included. And of course, we do have some form of sweat proofing in IPX7, as well as what they're calling a snug fit for workouts and for running. And that's something that we're definitely going to be sort of evaluating through this review as we look at this design. That is, for me, almost always the most important factor. How well do these earbuds stay in place? And also, how easy are they to just put on and wear? That's something that with normal earbuds isn't really a concern, but with ones like this that have such a strange, novel design, sometimes it's kind of hard to literally get them on, and when you do, they don't want to stay there. So again, we're going to be digging into that. Let's take a closer look at that hardware. The first thing that I want to say, the first thing that really jumped out to me, is that this case is absolutely massive. This is the case for my Pixel Buds 2 Pro 2. There's no way to know. And it is just absolutely dwarfed by this case. If you are looking for something that is going to be relatively small in your pocket, this is not going to be that. Maybe with the scale of my hand, you can kind of see it a bit better. And that is because of the design of these things. Look, I mean, they're big. They have to wrap around your ear, so they take up a lot of space, and therefore the case is just going to be rather large. Now, I will say, it's not very heavy, or at least it doesn't feel very heavy. I guess we can weigh it here. So it is 72 grams. We have my Pixel Buds right there. They're 65 grams. And then the Pearl Clips are 47 grams. So I guess really what it is that it's so spread out, it's so large, that it actually makes it feel lighter than my Pixel Buds. That's really interesting, actually. The case itself does kind of have like a little bit of a cheap feel to it, but again, I think some of that might just be due to the fact that it's so big and the weight is spread out. It makes it just feel kind of light and flimsy. The buds themselves do feel pretty decent. You've got sort of this like soft, smooth, rubberized texture on this part that goes around your ear. This larger, thicker area sort of rests behind your ear. And then this sits right in front. There is your speaker that's going to be playing that sound directly into your ear canal without plugging it up. Those are your little charging contacts there. You can see, obviously, that is magnetic. They're just going to snap into place pretty darn well, actually. I can kind of drop those from pretty high, and they're just going to go straight in there and begin charging. So I talked about that process of actually putting them on, and it's really not been too bad. I just sort of loop it around the back of my ear, and it does seem like it gets in place relatively well. My glasses are right there where they would theoretically be in the way, but it doesn't really seem like they get in the way too bad. I will say that they never really feel secure. I don't know what it is about them, but you think that they're going to fly off at any moment when you move, but it seems like that's not going to happen. I've worn them quite a bit over the last few days. I've been outside playing with my dog and so forth, and they've stayed in place really well. If I do the head shake test there, you see, they're not coming off. They just feel like they might. One other small thing that I've noticed is that the shape of the touch sensitive area, maybe not the shape, almost the angle that they sit at, is something you kind of have to learn because it's a little bit different. You might be able to see it if I turn this way. You see how it's flat here. You expect it to be flat here, and it's more flat like on that area there. I don't really know how to describe it any better. I'll show you some B-roll that'll kind of demonstrate sort of the shape of them a little bit. So when you come at it to do a tap, you kind of have to come at it more this way than this way. That's a small thing, but it's something that I'm going to point out. They also were smart enough to put little bumps on the touch capacitive areas as well that help you find where you're supposed to be tapping. So that was definitely pretty smart. Let's take a second, and this is the EarFun application, and I've actually already jumped into the Open Jump earbuds, and I'll show you a few of the things that you can do. So you do have this game mode, which is great if you are a mobile gamer and you want to have low latency. The good news is if you're doing normal stuff, watching YouTube videos, the latency doesn't seem to be too bad. I've seen on some cheaper buds over the years that sometimes, the person's talking and it's out of sync with the audio. That's not really a problem here. There's a theater mode that should try to simulate a surround sound experience. We'll come back to that in just a second. There's an equalizer. And not only are there a ton of different presets that you can choose between, you can also make your own custom equalizer, which is very responsive. Unlike a lot of other equalizer apps in some of the cheaper earbuds that are kind of janky, this feels quite responsive. You can hear what you're changing in the moment. There's also this custom sound profile thing where it's going to play a sound and you're going to tell it the moment where you can't hear that sound anymore, and it's going to create a custom equalizer. That is my custom equalizer there that it made for me. We're going to talk about the audio quality here in just a little bit. I want to get through the features first. You can customize your controls. This is a big one. So you can go earbud by earbud and tell it specifically what you want it to be doing. You can even have the voice assistant triggering on a long press or wherever you want it to be. And that does work pretty well. You can see here, it should happen in real time. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it does still work. We have the ability to connect to 2 devices at once, which is really, really useful. If you don't use that dual connection thing very often, you can go into audio quality and you can actually turn on LDAC. You can't have both of those enabled at the same time, so you have to pick or choose. But basically, LDAC is a higher quality audio codec, so things should sound a little bit better this way. For the sake of this video, I'm going to turn dual connection off, and we're going to turn LDAC on, and it's going to go through and make you pair again. And that process took about 10 seconds. They rebooted, and I'm now connected once again. So one thing to talk about is noise bleed, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to let you hear it. I've turned off the noise cancellation on my microphone, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up a track to maximum volume to the point that it's almost slightly painful in my ear, and I'm just going to let you hear exactly what this sounds like at relatively close proximity. I think it should be probably fairly clear from that these are not, like all open earbuds, something that you should be wearing and blasting if you don't want everyone around you to hear what you're listening to. Here's something I forget to do every single time I review a set of earbuds, a microphone test. Right now you are hearing my Elgato microphone, and right now you are hearing the microphone in the Open Jump earbuds. I'm recording this through my Pixel phone, and I'll pull that audio over. My dogs are moving things around next to me. Here's what the microphone sounds like. So let's talk about that audio quality in general. I think that these actually sound pretty decent. My only complaints with them are the sorts of complaints that you get from most open earbuds. It's that you don't have a ton of bass. It's hard to get bass when you can't literally seal in the ear canal. You tend to have a little bit less detail and a little bit less just punch. I like a good punchy set of earbuds, and these just aren't going to be that because they're prioritizing something else. If you're buying these, you're not prioritizing audio quality. You're prioritizing the open ear nature of them, the ability to hear the world around you. That's what you're going for. So these don't have to sound the best. They just have to sound good enough. And I think that they absolutely do. I do think that the Soundpeats Pearl Clips maybe have a little bit more punch, but I would encourage you to try out that theater mode. it did more than I expected it to do. It seemed like it did add just a little bit of body and a little bit more of that aggressiveness, a little bit more of that punch that I was looking for. So definitely give that a shot. Play around with the equalizer and see if you can find a sound that clicks for you. All in all, I do think that this is a pretty solid option if you're looking for a set of open earbuds that have decent enough audio quality, but they don't really get in your way. The software is pretty darn good. There's a decent amount of options and customization there. And like I said before, 20% off coupon there, and I actually should have a coupon code down below that should bring the total price to $59. I got to admit, I love having a set of earbuds that I can just wear all day long throughout the day. They don't really get too uncomfortable, and in fact, they're light enough at about 4 grams that you can forget that you've got them on. You can hear the world around you. Maybe you're using that dual connection phone and PC, something like that. It's a really, really nice combination. So guys, I'm going to put a link in the description down below to the Amazon page. I'm also going to put my promo code down there. If you click on that link and you make a purchase, I will earn commission off of that. I do also want to say thanks to Earfun for sending these earbuds over for me to review. As with all of my reviews, all they sent me was the product. I do not accept monetary incentives for this other than my affiliate links. That's basically how that works. So they're going to see the review at the exact same time as everyone else. Thanks for watching. See you in the comments down below. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.